Hi everyone, good evening and welcome to this session, 7 months to CLAT 2025. I hope I'm audible loud and clear to each one of you. And I could see a lot of excitement. Some of the students I could see they were waiting since 7:20 p.m. actually, almost 40 minutes before the start of the session actually. So good that you guys are definitely, I would say you're looking serious actually. And if you're here, you want some definitely you know that there'll be a good value addition to your preparation actually. And so this session is all about CLAT 2025, and where I have the two mentors with me. I'm just going to introduce them. अभी थोड़ी देर में introduce करता हूँ, but उसके पहले एक चीज बतानी बहुत जरूरी है कि मतलब इस सेशन में थोड़ा अटेंटिव रहना बहुत जरूरी है आप लोगों का. सो प्लीज बी अटेंटिव ड्यूरिंग द सेशन एंड वी विल डेफिनेटली टेक योर क्वेश्चंस एट दिस इन द सेशन. आई विल बी मॉडरेटिंग, सो मैं बीच बीच में आपके क्वेश्चंस उठाऊंगा एंड आई ask the mentors your questions actually. So I am representing you guys today, so I'll definitely put on my inputs, but मैं आज students के साथ हूँ, so this is to the mentors actually. तो मैं उनके क्वेश्चंस बीच में भी पिक करूंगा एंड डेफिनेटली एट द एंड विल पिक द क्वेश्चन. So let me introduce the panel first of all. So we have Siddharth Mehta sir, and all of you those who are attending the mock analysis, I'm sure you are familiar with him. He is the creator of the CR Nuggets program, and I think Siddharth, the program has been launched today actually for the subsequent years, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll I'll come to that at a later stage. Siddharth got All India rank 96 in CLAT 2023, and we have with us Rahul Reddy sir. Rahul Reddy sir is from Bangalore, and he got the rank 3 in CLAT 2024. And we'll also talk to him about his reason and what did he do actually to get that score. And by the way, just information for every one of you, Rahul sir ka jo student tha Pradyot, he got the rank 2 actually. A proud moment for, I would say, both mentor and the mentee actually. दोनों ने एग्जाम लिखा, रैंक 2 रैंक 3 लेकर के आए. आई थिंक दैट वाज अ वेरी प्राउड मोमेंट एक्चुअली. सो I think we should go ahead, and I could already see the numbers increasing quite high actually, very in the last 30 seconds itself. So first of all, welcome Siddharth, welcome Rahul, and I'll simply start with a very simple question, because both of you keep on writing the examination every year actually, and with a perspective out there actually, but I'll come to that perspective. But as a mentor, what is your thought about the CLAT examination? I think before we talk about the strategy, it is very important to understand कि CLAT exam है क्या, उसको समझना. आई थिंक बहुत लोगों ने अभी तक उसको समझा नहीं कि एग्जैक्टली एग्जाम है क्या और ये पैटर्न जो है आज के डेट में है क्या एक्चुअली. सो आई स्टार्ट विद सिद्धार्थ यू एंड देन विल मूव ऑन टू राहुल. तो एग्जैक्टली ये आपकी नजर में ये एग्जाम है क्या एक्चुअली?
So, Amitan, see, basically, I feel the CLAT exam test you on two skills. Two skills important. One is the reading skill, and the second is the reasoning ability / problem solving ability. When I say problem solving, it is not restricted to mathematics alone. मतलब logical reasoning में भी तो problem solve करना ही है. There is a question given and you have to answer that. So, without reading you cannot do well in this exam. If you're not good at reading, if you're not practicing daily, maybe an hour 2 hour depending upon abhi kahan par aap ho. And that is one thing that we are going to talk a lot about, that where are you standing right now. Your strategy depends on that also. But yeah, answering your question, according to me, it basically tests students on reading and problem solving / reasoning skills. Student has to be good in it. Yeah, I mean, we can say that CLAT 24 paper was very easy, and per se it did not test that deeply the skills of the student. But if you look at the CLAT over the years, we can never say that the pattern of what they gave in CLAT 24, that is at least the standard wise, it will be same as CLAT, it will be same in CLAT 25 also. So surprise element ke liye we all should be ready. Just by CLAT 24 we cannot judge it. By and large, these two are the things you have to prepare well in. These two things. And the third thing is of course general knowledge, but that comes in reading. If you read a lot, read newspaper, तो GK अपने आप prepare होता है. Notes वगैरह थोड़ा बनाना होगा, that I think we will cover as we move on to GK section. So yeah, Rahul sir?
Yeah, definitely, Siddharth. I think one point I'd completely agree with you कि CLAT में एक चीज तो बहुत consistent है कि they can they always put surprises actually. So if you look at forget about the new pattern. In fact, if we go back to the earlier pattern as well, 2008 से लेके 2019 तक, every year we saw some surprise or the other actually, and not just limited to some technical goof-ups, but even during the way the questions used to be asked. Rahul sir, what's your take on this?
Right. I think if you look at what is an aptitude test, I mean, aptitude test, we are looking at people whether they have the ability to do well in law school or to do well as a lawyer. So, what really does a lawyer do? I mean, we see the climatic elements in movies and in TV shows where they go and argue and make fantastic points before the judge and so on. But usse pehle, they have to do a lot of research, right? So research, reading, and then have to write a brief stating their arguments very clearly with supporting evidence. After that, the judge will give them a chance to speak. And if it's like 1,000 pages of research, 20 pages of written argument, and probably 2 pages of oral argument. So if you understand what really is a lawyer, then you understand why this exam is designed like this. Why the focus on reading? Why the focus on arguments? Why the focus on speed? All neatly come together because look, these are exactly the kind of skills that make a great lawyer. And they're saying you have the basic skills, then come into NLS and then we'll train you. Now, just one point on the easiness component. So it's a broadly accepted thing that 2024 CLAT was easy. So easy CLAT mein, how many people got into NLS Bangalore? 300. Difficult CLAT mein, 300. It is not easier for you to get in. It is only easier for you to get a little more marks, but the rank doesn't really change. Right? So easy or difficult really doesn't matter because the competition is with the others. If the pitch is easy, then the target is 200. Sunrisers Hyderabad is now challenging 300, but okay. See, it happens. If the pitch is difficult, then 120 is a good score. So don't worry too much about easy, difficult. Understand that the next guy is also running very hard. Definitely. That's an important aspect to look at. And yes, surprises do happen. I think we all know that the one set of logical reasoning that about manufacturing company and new technology was a complete googly in that sense. That is expected. But it is also important to understand that 90% of the exam is predictable and the 10% is the surprise element. Right?
I think that is very important as well, isn't it?
All throughout. In no way, no year will you go in and say, I won't recognize this paper. Yes. You will find a lot of familiar things with one odd surprise thrown. So that's the perspective.
So one thing which definitely emerges is कि मतलब देखो जो skill set CLAT को ace करने के लिए है, I think वही skill set है जो आपको एक अच्छा lawyer भी बनाता है actually. So your reading skills definitely become important. Your प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड आई थिंक ओवर मतलब अगर लॉ स्कूल की बात करें या फिर मैं एज अ लॉयर अगर प्रोफेशन की बात करूं तो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग को आई कैन इवन से डिसीजन मेकिंग एक्चुअली दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड दैट इज हाउ आई बिलीव द लीगल इज डिजाइन्ड एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. In fact, we are already getting a lot of queries regarding rank, regarding what I would say good score in mocks. So we'll come to that, all those aspects basically. But I think one thing which we definitely agree is कि reading skill और problem skill तो definitely workout करना पड़ेगा. Now, Siddharth, coming back, when we look at this, so we are talking today on 3rd of May. And as I mentioned at the start of this session, कि अब यहाँ से देखा जाए तो 207 दिन बचे हुए हैं. CLAT most likely 1 दिसंबर को होगा, CLAT 2025 इस साल. तो यहाँ से देखा जाए तो मोटे मोटे 207 दिन है बच्चों के पास. Now इसमें भी क्या होगा कि कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे हैं जो they started preparing when they moved to class 11. तो कुछ स्टूडेंट्स there are students who have been preparing for last almost 1 year or so. Some who started 6 months earlier basically. So, and there are students who probably would be planning to start from tomorrow. Actually, after this session, probably they would want to start the learning from tomorrow itself. So, what according to you, if I bifurcate this, like somebody who has started earlier or somebody जो अभी सोचने वाला है या अभी last 1-2 दिन में शुरू किया है, तो दोनों को अगर मैं देखता हूँ तो What would be your take, your view, कैसे दोनों को आगे बढ़ना चाहिए actually?
सी सबसे पहले बात करते हैं unki those who would have started their preparation 4 to 5 months back. And when I say started preparation 4 to 5 months back, that doesn't mean joining classes only. I mean, what
Yeah.
I want to say is that जिसने कम से कम 3-4 mock दे चुका है, one who is familiar with the CLAT का pattern, the person has got into habit of reading newspaper, at least those basic hygiene factors जो किसी भी एग्जाम के होते हैं. इस एग्जाम का हाइजीन फैक्टर इज रीडिंग न्यूज़पेपर डेली विदाउट फेलियर. वो करते आ रहा है, and the person has a fair bit of idea about what the paper is about, and also about one's own strength and weaknesses. क्योंकि 3-4 मॉक देकर के एनालिसिस किया है, तो आई अज्यूम उसे पता होगा कि स्ट्रेंथ कहां पर है, वीकनेस कहां पर है. तो एक तो ये वाले स्टूडेंट्स की स्ट्रेटेजी हो गई, that we need to focus upon. Then the other part is that those who have not yet started preparation, so what should they do? Right, so they do not know where they stand. They perhaps many of the students might not even be knowing कि actual number of questions each section में कितने रहते हैं. अगर कोई preparation start नहीं किया है तो fair enough है वो. So first thing for such a student is of course to know the rules of the game. So पिछले साल का पेपर एक बार उठा करके देखें, what was the number of question in each section. That is something that you need to know. थोड़ा सा पिछले 2-3 साल का देख ले तो और अच्छा आइडिया हो जाएगा कि what type of questions come in the exam. Now, when it comes to the preparation part, one thing is common for all the students in whichever stage of their preparation they are. Reading newspaper or reading any good content daily is absolutely essential. For me, the CLAT preparation abhi se agar dekhen to it will be around, I will say, it will require 500 hours of self preparation. Right, the figure may vary depending upon if somebody has a very good exposure to English language since childhood. Uske liye maybe it can go down to 400 hours, but not less than that. For somebody it can go to 600 hours, but I'm taking 500 hours of self preparation is necessary. So for remaining 200 days, a good chunk of this should go to reading. Okay, and when you read, you also prepare notes for GK and all this stuff. I mean, इस पेपर में मैं करूंगा क्या, मैं कितने पैसेजेस बना के अपनी बोलूंगा कि now I am prepared. इम्पॉसिबल है ना. सॉल्विंग पैसेजेस इज नॉट गोइंग टू टेक यू, बहुत लंबा डिस्टेंस तो नहीं ट्रैवल कर सकते. इट इज जस्ट वन पार्ट ऑफ योर जर्नी. बट रीडिंग न्यूज़पेपर इज एसेंशियल कहीं पर भी आप हो. दोज हु हैव स्टार्टेड अर्ली, आई अज्यूम that they would have solved the study material. They would have started taking the topic test. If not, then they should do it immediately. And those who have not yet started, start with reading newspaper, start with getting familiar with the exam pattern, take 2 to 3 mocks in next 20 days, 30 days, and then try to understand तुम्हारा strength क्या है, weakness क्या है. Accordingly we can prepare the strategy. Right, so अभी जो बोलना चाह रहा हूँ वो ये कि strength weakness important है जानना. Accordingly next 2 to 3 months you can design your strategy where to focus upon.
Yeah. Rahul, what's your take on this? And I'll add to that question because many would relate. I related this way because I don't think you prepare for the examination when you go and write the examination, but you did so well in the examination actually. So your input is very also, I would say, from that perspective to add on here with this what Siddharth mentioned.
No, while it is true that I did not specifically prepare for the CLAT 24 exam, it will give a wrong impression to the students that I have not actually prepared or I can do it without preparation. अगर ऐसा देखा जाए तो I have started preparing from 2002.
Yes.
Right? When I started training students for aptitude exams. So 2002 onwards, it's about 20 years I've trained for aptitude exams, including extremely tough exams like CAT. So all that kind of comes through. And within CAT also I've been a verbal expert. So which is again something that dovetails very well. Of course, I also go into the exam without the pressure that students have. So it is not really fair to compare my attempts or score or rank with the students, right? But yeah, I think 2-3 things. One, those who started early, right? They have a little bit of luxury. Okay? They can go at a slide. They had gone at least in the first year. Most of them who started from 11th, the first year they go at a very, aram se, a comfortable pace where there's no much pressure. Pressure really builds in the second year. Those who are starting now or have very recently started, they have no time to waste at all. Right? Another month or so, then you're almost like, boss, is it even possible to do it in 3 months, 4 months? Then you start really worrying. Right? What exactly do we do as a starting point? I think one is understand the nature of the exam. I think Siddharth put it very nicely. Start with the rules of the game. Second, look at having a structured preparation plan. Have a structure, have a plan, and stick to it. If I decide that in a week I have to do this, Monday this, Tuesday this, Wednesday this, then you bloody well do it. Right? There's no postponing, procrastination anymore. Remember that there are some very, very strong competitors who are fighting for that seat at the top colleges across the country. I don't want to scare you, but there are people who will probably spend 500 hours from now to CLAT on GK alone.
Yes.
Referring to 3 different sources. Right? So, okay, that of course doesn't mean that directly proportional that they will get a rank and you won't get, but understand that it's time to get serious. You don't have any more time to lose. Make a very specific plan. If you want to start, understand the plan for each section. In English, for example, what is the size of the passages? What kind of speed do you need to read? What are the types of questions? In LR, what is an argument? What are the different components of an argument? And what are the types of questions and how to approach them? GK, start identifying significant topics and then get into it. We'll of course go into detail later, but this is the basic idea. Understand the nature of the exam and then make a plan. Typically a good weekly plan. Every Sunday you make a plan, implement it till Saturday, and again Sunday make a plan for the next week and keep going.
Yeah, I think you make smaller goals for yourself to begin with, actually, and that really works, because if you put a larger goal for yourself and then you are not able to achieve it, you only demotivate yourself. तो छोटे goals लेकर के चलते हैं, जैसे what you mentioned कि Sunday plan बनाओ, Saturday तक उसको बिल्कुल implement करो. तो I think once you start doing this, then you get motivated. Okay, I can do it actually. But you set a larger goal for yourself and suddenly you don't do it actually, and you realize कि फिर बाद में लगता है कि नहीं हो पाएगा. So, okay, so I think I'll just take a couple of questions over here, actually, while most of the questions are about analysis of the mocks or ये सब चीजें. I think one was about daily schedule, वो आपने cover कर दिया है. One thing which came over here is what if I'm not reading newspaper actually and I'm reading novels only? So does that work? And I think that's an interesting question. A couple of students
Absolutely.
might, yeah, definitely.
So, according to me, it works fine. The problem will be in GK only. I mean,
Yes.
personally, I don't read English newspaper. That's why I don't do well in GK, but I do very well in English and logical. So the problem will be in GK. Newspaper, it actually helps in all the 3 sections. But if you read novels, if you read good sources, magazines, books, blogs, anything will help you in English, logical, and also in legal section, because that also is more of a reading rather than what we call or think it as law wala legal. तो वैसा नहीं है, but GK definitely उसमें problem होगी. Rahul sir, your take?
Just one point. I think GK definitely, newspapers has that additional advantage of GK. The second thing is the diversity of subjects. So I think Siddharth sir is also, for example, along with Amitendra, planning the mocks. So you will see in the mocks that the passages come from very, very varied subjects. One on history, one on social issue, one on science. Now, a novel may not cover all of that. So in that sense, shorter articles, diverse sources, diverse subjects. So in fact, I'm a fan that along with newspaper, you go for multiple magazines and newspapers online. You don't have to pay and subscribe for each of them, and all different types of passages. So make sure if you're reading 5 passages today, 5 different subjects. That gives you that comfort level. Economics is also okay, science is also okay, social issue is also okay.
Yeah. So in fact, related to that, the question is already Manthan. It's like Manthan करने से GK का score नहीं बढ़ रहा है box में. So please understand. I truly understand this. People do appreciate, all the students appreciate Manthan, but please understand Manthan is one of your sources actually. Until unless you do your research, please understand, if you don't do your research, if you don't put effort and you believe that only one source will help me, especially the kind of GK CLAT is asking actually, so it will not help actually. You will have to read newspaper, you'll have to read online magazines, which Rahul mentioned actually. One or two is good enough actually. Manthan is a good document out there and it really helps. It will take you to a larger extent, I would say, closer to the score you are looking forward to. But I think it's always putting yourself on the safer side. तो उसके लिए थोड़ा सा पढ़ना पड़ेगा. For those who are not aware, Manthan is current affairs document, current affairs compendium. There are two Manthans by Career Launcher. One is a general one, which is for every examination, and the other one is designed specifically for CLAT actually, and it's a weekly compendium which comes to the students every week actually, and they do a lot of practice through that actually. So, so that's how it is. Okay, we'll come back to the question. सिद्धार्थ, जैसा मैंने बोला अभी 207 दिन दिख रहे हैं और मंथ वाइज अगर मैं देखता हूं तो डेफिनेटली 7 months है. I'll come back to this table, I think, and we should look at from this perspective. यहाँ पे कुछ एक बहुत ही important component है. You and I were discussing, in fact Rahul, we all discussed actually. So would you like to start with this and then we'll move forward?
Yeah, sure. So the month of May, June is very, very critical, because when we say that you have 500 hours for your preparation, most of you might be in class 12. There might be few who would be retaking CLAT exam. तो उनके पास काफी time है. Then they should not look at 500 hours. They should look at 700, 800 hours of preparation. So those who are in class 12, for them it becomes very, very critical that you utilize your next 45 days, 60 days till the time your schools open and wo board ka pressure बढ़े, you utilize this time well. Now what do I mean by utilization of the time? अगर मैं आपके जगह रहता तो firstly I would have ensured that all the material that has been given to me, the booklets that has been given to me, whether I have solved those booklets or not, right? We also need to understand one thing here for all these students who are perhaps preparing for say top 2 or 3 colleges. मेरी view ये है कि you cannot run with the speed of the classes that you join, because you understand classes में जो topic हो सकता है सितंबर में हो, but if you want to ace the exam and if you want to be among the top 2 or 3 colleges, you need to move fast. All right. So your study material should be completed in the next two, maybe June end. You should start taking topic test. It is very essential. These are the part of concept learning. So maybe till June, maybe 15th July, depending upon where you stand right now, maximum till July end, you should look to knock this off. Study material पूरा खत्म कर देना है. Module 1 and 2 particularly, which deals with your concept. Take all the topic test. Newspaper reading is essential. वो बार बार हम कह रहे हैं that will continue the way जैसा आप करते आए हो. The other thing is of course GK. So start making notes of GK. Amitin, you are the better person to talk about how to make notes on GK. But yeah, that these are 3-4 things that students should focus. If they can do bulk of study here, concept learning, then maybe the later months it will be easier for them.
Definitely. In fact, I'd just like to add on over here, and then we'll move to Rahul. See, SB, for the benefit of everyone, SB, we refer to summer vacation. Now, for some of you, the summer vacation will start from mid of May itself. For some of you, it might get over by mid of June, actually. But still, please understand, look at that from 30 days perspective, actually. And both the mentors spoke about this 500 hours. Actually, they specifically mentioned 500 hours to at least dekhna hi hai, starting from here till your examination, which could be on 1st of December. Now, when we are talking about 500 hours, if you utilize well the summer vacation, because you are not going to school, you are not traveling, you are saving all of your time actually. So 8 hours of school and then 2 hours of traveling to and fro, 10 hours you are saving actually. And anyways, you would have done a lot of homework and you would have gone to your classes. तो सब कुछ को देखा जाए तो पूरे 24 घंटे तुम्हारे पास है. अगर उसमें से डेली 6 घंटे भी अगर आप लोग लगाते हो for your CLAT preparation itself, and you put the rest 6-7 hours for your school. In fact, दोनों का balance काफी अच्छा maintain हो सकता है. Summer vacation is a good time. I see as moving ahead of the competition, whether it is your class 12, whether it is your CLAT preparation. So if you can manage to get those 180 hours or 200 hours in this particular 30 days, I think it's a job well done, and that could put you in the driver's seat. I think for anybody who's able to achieve that 200 hours in the 30 days, I think वहां पर आपका मोर और लेस कंपटीशन थोड़ा बहुत आप लोग डेफिनेटली किल कर दोगे. दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो राहुल, I'll take your views before moving ahead.
Right. So one, obviously, I can hear people thinking, summer vacation, I should meet friends, I should go and play, and I'm going to travel with my family and all that. I think the good thing is this is not IDJE, so you can actually have a life. Okay, you can go with a family trip. You can also spend some time with friends. I think Amitendra was only talking about 6 hours. So you can actually find time for all of them. Okay. Second, one very interesting thing came out because last week we had a achievers party for the gang from Bangalore who is going into the top NLUs. Incidentally, we are thinking of booking a separate hostel in NLS Bangalore because we are sending 37 people this time. So, but one thing that came out from the achievers is that a lot of them didn't prepare alone. There are a few who prepared alone, but a lot of them had groups. And like-minded people studying together towards a common goal, very powerful. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I'm saying it, if it works for you, if you know like-minded people who are as motivated as you are, then learning becomes more fun. And now that you have free time and no school, you can actually go to their house, they can come to your house, 2 or 3 of them, and work together, share notes. You can research and present on one GK topic, your friend can do it on the other, you can test yourself, help analyze. So yeah, it really helps. So think about working in a study group, right? But only pick people who are motivated and serious.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
If your friend is not motivated, don't drop the friendship, drop the study group.
No, I have no hesitation. मैं तो बोलता हूँ दोस्त को भी ड्रॉप कर दो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. मतलब if you don't have ambitious people around you and you don't have a good mentor, I think you're bound to fail actually in that sense. So मैं तो बोलता हूँ दोस्त को छोड़ना है छोड़ दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. I think you are being too modest on this platform, Rahul. Actually, that's how I would say. Okay, so we'll continue that discussion quickly and then we'll move on to the questions. So next part of the strategy, Siddharth, I think यहाँ पे तो critical है, students को समझ में भी आ गया होगा. Let's move on to application and testing. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so see, what by application, what we mean is that uh, assuming that you have solved the material, taken the topic test, now is the time to increase the intensity of test taking. So, firstly, sectional tests are designed for you so that when once it acts like a bridge, sectional test acts like a bridge. मैंने टॉपिक पढ़ लिया है, मॉक में मेरा परफॉर्मेंस उतना अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है, तो सेक्शनल टेस्ट इज वन very good tool that will help you to bridge that gap. So take sectional test, very very important. Career launcher students, module number 3 becomes important here, because module 3, all the packets, all the study material that is given is for practice. There is no concept being discussed there. So module 3 becomes important here. And also the previous year questions booklet, or if you do not have that booklet, then you can find the previous year CLAT papers and the ALET papers on the net also. The career launcher students do get that booklet, of course. So that booklet is also very handy. And this, for me, application is of 3 things: module 3, previous year question, and sectional test. Assuming mock test is consistent, mock test को concept learning के period में भी लेना ही है.
Definitely.
एप्लीकेशन के समय में इंटेंसिटी बढ़ जाएगी, फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ जाएगी. Right?
And that is what they'll continue with the testing strategy part as well, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, Right.
So यहाँ पर, and as you move closer to the exam, and if you look at your test series schedule, you'll see starting July, August itself, you'll have more mocks, and as you move closer to the examination, बहुत सारे mocks होंगे. तो अगर अभी से नहीं लिखोगे तो आगे जाकर के वो फिर प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा तुम्हारे लिए, क्योंकि क्या होगा कि फिर एकदम से प्रेशर बिल्डअप हो जाएगा, परफॉर्मेंस एंग्जाइटी तो रहेगी कि मॉक में अच्छा स्कोर करना है, और वो बढ़ नहीं रहा है एक्चुअली, विच लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स आर फाइंडिंग इट हियर इटसेल्फ कि मेरे मॉक्स के स्कोर ऑलमोस्ट स्टैग्नेंट हो गए हैं, मतलब 5-6 मॉक्स लिख दिए बट वो उसके ऊपर जा नहीं रहा है. सो आई थिंक the best strategy to work on your CLAT preparation is to follow the CLAT strategy itself. और यहाँ पर जो फाइनल फेज है, राहुल, what would be your advice for the last 2-3 months actually, when of course we'll do more sessions like this, but अगर लास्ट के 2-3 महीने की बात करूँ, for example August, September, October or November actually, and time when some lot of them will have their half yearlies happening around September as well, तो उसको भी एक फैक्टर रखते हो, what would be your advice to the students, especially this phase where I could say August से लेकर के November तक.
So very quickly, I think when we talked about concept, it's about knowing what to do. Application is when you are able to use that knowledge to solve questions. Now, testing and strategy is really about speed and optimizing that, wo 120 minute kind of stuff. So how do I optimize to try and get the maximum part, right? So let us understand that one very simple thing. If you take the reading sections, 80 marks out of 120, right? Broadly, your ultimate goal, if you're aiming for the top 3 colleges, is can I attempt all 80 in a very reasonable amount of time, right? Now, for that, of course, it doesn't mean that currently I have an accuracy of 50%, but I'll try to attempt everything. That doesn't make sense, right? So, a minimum accuracy, at least 70-75% accuracy, first get that and then increase the speed, right? So, it's always accuracy first and then speed, right? And remember, when you write, why do you write marks? Because unless you measure something, it doesn't improve. Otherwise, you don't even know what you're bad at, what you're good at, right?
Yes.
Use the mock as an analysis tool. It is not a judgment whether you're good enough or bad enough. वो judgment CLAT करेगा दिसंबर में, अभी नहीं. अभी a mock score खराब आता है, it shows valuable learnings on where you're learning. It doesn't mean anything else, right? So first thing is have a plan. Which order of sections you will start? You can experiment with that from mock to mock. How much time you allocate for each section? Have a plan. Try to stick to it. Track how much time you are spending on actual this thing. Check what kind of accuracy you are getting in sections. And check what is the score as well as percentile. Where do you stand with respect to others? Between mock X and X plus 1, you should know what are the 2 or 3 small things I will change which will improve my score. If you don't have that, that means you have not analyzed the previous mark, right? ये change करूंगा, इसकी वजह से 2 mark English में बढ़ेंगे. These mistakes I'll avoid, which is why I will get 2 more marks in logic. That is the kind of plan you should have when you go from mock to mock. Small steps, but with very clarity ki, okay, from this mock to this mock, I will change some input so that output will change. If you don't change input, you'll get the same output.
Somebody is written पढ़ पढ़ के सर दर्द हो गया. अभी तो ये शुरुआत है. So if you like it this way, मेरा सजेशन होगा डिस्प्लिन ले लो, बट पढ़ना तो अभी बहुत है एक्चुअली. सो मतलब उसका कोई सेकेंड वो नहीं है, थॉट नहीं हो सकता है. सो you'll have to definitely do that actually. So let's I think that's how they need to work upon. So please understand, guys, all this helps only when you start following this actually. तो अगर इसको फॉलो नहीं करोगे, सुनने में सब कुछ अच्छा लगता है, बट जितने टिप्स और ट्रिक्स अभी मेंटर्स बता रहे हैं, अब थोड़ी देर के बाद अगर उसको भूलना है तो फिर तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. लेकिन अगर इसको फॉलो करना है, सो आई एम श्योर यू आर टेकिंग नोट्स ऑफ दिस. You might want to revisit this video once again and look at this actually. Now, a couple of people are putting continuously timetable, and I would like to answer this actually before we move on and take the questions from the student. देखो, timetable क्या बना सकते हैं इसमें, मतलब ऑल वी कैन से इज कि तुम्हें डेली ये चीजें करनी चाहिए, बट आई कैन नॉट से कि तुम्हें 5 बजे उठ कर ये काम करना है, बिकॉज आई ऑलवेज हैव दिस क्लैरिटी कि देखो हर स्टूडेंट, आप जितने हो यहाँ पर आज जितने भी 600 स्टूडेंट्स अभी इस समय हो, आप सब एक दूसरे से डिफरेंट हो, आपकी लर्निंग एबिलिटीज डिफरेंट है, कैपेबिलिटीज डिफरेंट है, तो जो आपका टाइम टेबल होता है, जैसे स्ट्रैटेजी होता है, वो भी अपना यूनिक होगा एक्चुअली। कोई देर रात तक पढ़ना पसंद करता है, कोई अर्ली मॉर्निंग उठ कर पढ़ना पसंद करता है। कुछ लोगों को नोट्स बनाना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लगता है, फॉर द सेंस कि उनको लगता है कि मैं जब लिखता हूं तो मुझे याद हो जाता है, तो सबकी हैबिट्स भी थोड़ी अलग हैं, तो आई थिंक यू शुड वेरी वेरी अंडरस्टैंड दिस। और जहां तक अगर रेगुलरिटी है, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि अगर डेली एफर्ट 2 घंटे का 2.5 घंटे का लगाना है और वो डेली चल रहा है, आई थिंक दैट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट एक्चुअली। टेस्टिंग मटेरियल इज वेरी लिमिटेड, देयर इज नो लिमिट टू टेस्टिंग मटेरियल एक्चुअली, सो I don't think ever any student has been able to complete all the study material provided by CL or any institution for that matter. किसी ने आज तक complete नहीं किया है. So I'll not go ahead with your thought कि मतलब testing material limited है, बहुत है, करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, लेकर के लाइब्रेरी बनाने के लिए थोड़ी ना, लाइब्रेरियन थोड़ी बनना है लाइफ में, लॉयर बनना है, उस चीज को ध्यान में रखो. सो कपल ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, Siddharth, let's move on, and Siddharth and Rahul, and we'll take up a couple of questions
Amitin,
from there.
एक question I will like to
Sure.
take up. I mean, if you can give the answer. Anshuman Patro is saying aspiration sectional tests are mostly outdated, specifically logical के. So we have given them the new sectional test, right?
Yes. So new sectional tests are getting added, और पुराने वाले जो थे, वो पुराने जो जैसे हर साल चेंज हो रहा है उस हिसाब से वो बनाए गए, तो उसको हमने रिमूव नहीं किया है अभी, इसलिए क्योंकि वो बच्चों को प्रैक्टिस मटेरियल के तौर पे, देखो जो आपने बुक की बात की थी, जो आप बुकलेट बोल रहे थे, पास्ट ईयर सॉल्व पेपर्स, एक्चुअली इट हैज लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस टू प्रैक्टिस ओवर देयर इटसेल्फ एक्चुअली, एंड आई वुड लुक एट सिमिलर वे, जैसे सेक्शनल टेस्ट की बात कर रहा हूँ, सेम तरीके से मैं उस बुक की बात करता हूँ, कि उसको मैं पीछे का कुछ इसलिए नहीं हटाता हूँ, क्योंकि एक चीज ध्यान में रखो, रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन ही रहेगा, क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग ही रहेगा, चाहे वो किस तरीके से पूछा जा रहा है। तो जितना, अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि मटेरियल चाहिए, तो ये सारे मटेरियल है, और उसको कवर करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड ड्यू कोर्स ऑफ टाइम आई विल रिमूव देम एक्चुअली, बट राइट नाउ वी आर पुटिंग sectional test for every area, the 4 areas. Manthan 2.0 is anyways covering GK, but जितने भी subjects हैं इसके अलावा 4 QT, English, CR and legal reasoning, हर वीक उनके एक सेट ऐड हो रहे हैं, और टिल नवंबर विल गिव यू एवरी वीक अ न्यू सेक्शनल टेस्ट एक्चुअली. सो दैट्स अराउंड, लाइक आई वुड से, एंड वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड इन अप्रैल, तो आपको ऑलमोस्ट 30+ सेक्शनल टेस्ट अक्रॉस ईच subject you will have actually, and similarly you will have that kind of that number of Manthan 2.0 that is going to help you out. Okay, so let me move on to the question actually, and so one is definitely, मतलब मैं सारे questions को club कर देता हूँ and we'll pick up some of them. Siddharth, and we were expecting, we discussed this, जो question आएगा definitely वो तो आएगा कि रीडिंग जो है मेरी, वो स्पीड तो बहुत अच्छी है, बट मैं रिटेन नहीं कर पाता हूँ इन्फॉर्मेशन को. by reading speed, and I think somebody is also putting 450 words in 1.5 minutes, but I'm not able to retain that. So this is, I think, one of the common problem जो है स्टूडेंट्स का, कि मतलब मैं रीड तो अच्छा करता हूँ, बट मैं रिटेन नहीं कर पाता हूँ इन्फॉर्मेशन को, और ये शायद मॉक्स पे भी अप्लाई होता है, मैं सब कुछ करता हूँ, बट लास्ट मोमेंट तक मेरा पेपर ही कंप्लीट नहीं होता है. So what would you suggest on this?
Okay, should I take that?
Yeah, Rahul sir, go ahead. Yeah,
I think the first thing is, when I read, what is it that I want to retain, right?
Yeah.
So first question I say is, when you read a 450 word passage, I would like to retain 4 to 5 important points. That's it. No details. नहीं घुसना है मेरे को डिटेल्स, सारे डिटेल पैसेज में है, पैसेज डिसअपियर नहीं होता है, वहीं पे है, ठीक है. नाउ द गुड पॉइंट इज, कैन आई रेफर बैक टू द पैसेज? ऑफ कोर्स आई रेफर. ओके, रैंक 3 आई रेफर. अगर रैंक इज, if I have to use the rank to push this point, I will use it. I refer back to the passage, and the speed is enough. You read the passage fast, retain the basics, and after that, when you read a question, for 4 questions, for 2 of them or 3 of them, if you have to go back to the passage, please go. That increases your accuracy, and it does not take the time that you think it takes. मैं ये गेम खेलता हूँ स्टूडेंट्स के साथ. I ask them to read a passage, then I ask them one phrase or one word and say, find it in the passage. Average time is 5 to 6 seconds. People find the particular word in 5 to 6 seconds in the passage, right? So the biggest mistake is you may be trying to memorize the passage, or you're trying to retain all the details of the passage. Don't. 4 or 5 main points as understanding in simplified format. That is your job for 1.5 to 2 minutes. The remaining 2-3 minutes of solving the passage is for the questions. Wherever you need to go back, please go back. I guarantee you will find the answer within 10 seconds, or you will find the part of the passage which has the answer.
अच्छा, बिफोर आई मूव ऑन, एक चीज एक काम करते हैं कि मतलब कुछ लोग यहाँ पर क्या कर रहे हैं कि वो अपने कॉपी पेस्ट सेम क्वेश्चन किए जा रहे हैं, तो उस क्वेश्चन को इग्नोर कर देते हैं, इन लोगों को इग्नोर कर देते हैं, क्योंकि जो जेन्युइन क्वेश्चंस हैं, जो अच्छे क्वेश्चंस हैं स्टूडेंट्स के, जो आई थिंक मेजर प्रॉब्लम है सभी स्टूडेंट्स का, तो वो छूट जाएगा. ओके सिद्धार्थ, आई विल कम बैक नाउ
पॉइंट
टू यू.
ऐड बस करना चाहूंगा.
डेफिनेटली
राहुल सर ने जो बात बोली है, मैं स्टूडेंट्स को वो एम्फेसाइज करना चाहूंगा, बिकॉज every time I find students saying this कि I have to go back to the passage. मेरे को कुछ बार 3 बार पैसेज में जाना पड़ता है. कैट के तो हर पैसेज में I perhaps read it thrice, one way or the other, right? CLAT में maybe twice. So students should not be afraid of going back to the passage and referring what Rahul sir is saying. मैं इसको emphasize इसलिए कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि मेरी भी view exactly same है. So अगर आपको regression करना पड़ रहा है तो do not worry about it. Okay.
Okay, so the question actually, which I think most of the students, the way they are asking could be different actually. One is कि मेरे मॉक्स के स्कोर्स इंप्रूव नहीं हो रहे हैं, तो एक सर्टेन एरिया पे जाकर के मैं अटक गया हूँ, या मेरे मॉक्स के स्कोर काफी वोलेटाइल हैं, कभी अच्छा आता है, कभी एकदम सडनली ड्रॉप हो जाता है नेक्स्ट वीक में. सो हाउ डू दीज स्टूडेंट्स एड्रेस देयर प्रॉब्लम एक्चुअली, एंड what is the level of worry I think at this stage they should have कि अगर मॉक का स्कोर अभी स्टैग्नेंट है तो वो तो समझ में आता है, फ्लक्चुएशन हो रहा है वो भी समझ में आता है. कुछ लोग इस बात को लेकर डरे हुए हैं कि मतलब स्कोर्स काफी कम आ रहे हैं अभी, तो क्या करें. तो आई थिंक सबको अगर मैं ध्यान में रखूं तो what should be their approach actually at this point of time, all three set of students.
Yeah, so let us talk about those जिनका स्कोर फिक्स हो गया है. ऐसा लग रहा है कि दे आर गेट स्कोरिंग अराउंड से व्हाटएवर 60 65 70 व्हाटएवर देयर रेंज माइट बी. So I think that for most of the student, now this I can be completely wrong, but I feel कि majority students के लिए तो this will apply, that they are very fixated upon their strategy. Now they are not changing the way they are approaching the paper. So legal को if they want to complete the legal section, they are not keeping in mind कि time कितना लग रहा है उसमें. So they may be overstepping there. They may not be solving quant. अब quant अगर नहीं solve कर रहे हैं, then automatically our paper becomes of 108 marks. GK, if I am not revising timely, so automatically I am restricting myself to 80 marks of reading alone. Now, if 80 marks of reading I am not practicing daily, then there is a level to it. I mean, I cannot score more than 50 marks in reading alone. Maybe 5-7 marks in GK, maybe 2-3 marks in QT if I solve. So my score will be limited to 60. So the thing is, look at the weak areas. What are your weak areas? Address the weak areas, only then your scores will improve. Beyond the point, आपका जो स्ट्रॉन्ग एरिया है ना, उससे बहुत ज्यादा निचोड़ना मुश्किल हो जाता है. You cannot take out much up beyond a point. So legal में if you are scoring say 25 marks out of 32, 24, 25, maximum 2-3 नंबर का upshot हो सकता है, right? Not more than that. But if in QT you are scoring 0, then you can perhaps take it to 10 marks upshot. So
Definitely.
This is for those students जो marks stuck हैं. Those who are not scoring well, I mean, maybe I think that everybody should score around 55-60 marks. If you are not scoring, then focus on your strong areas. Strong areas को थोड़ा सा ज्यादा टाइम देके एक respectable score करके तो जाओ मॉक के अंदर, but daily preparation में weak area पे focus करना है. If your weak area is quant, then please focus on quant every day. Devote some 30 minutes, 45 minutes time, whatever your time permits you.
Okay. Rahul, something to add on?
Yeah, a few quick tips. One, I think very well said by Siddharth. First thing, look at the scorecard, look at percentile also. Sometimes students only look at score. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes score goes down for everyone because that particular section was tougher, right? So focus on the percentile. I'll always say focus on your, out of 5 sections, what are the 2 lowest percentiles? Because that is where you have the highest score for growth. If I am getting 60 percentile in GK, That is where I should focus. If I'm already getting 92 in English, how much more will I increase in English? So give yourself focus on the weakest area. Second, for those whose score appears that not improving at the same level, also understand that it is normal, it's scientific that learning happens in spurts. एक काफी plateau होता है, फिर थोड़ा spurt होता है, फिर plateau होता है. इतना straight line नहीं होता है. And that has been scientifically proven. All skills, from piano playing to tennis, ऐसे ही होता है. It appears that you are not learning for a period of time and then there is a spurt. So you'll have to have that patience. Third thing, normal fluctuations, okay. One thing I want to specifically mention, there are some days where you will suddenly fall badly. Keep from something like 90% you fall to 60%. That mock, don't analyze. Just ignore it. Bad day, ignore. Bad dream. Kuch mat karna uske upar. Because if you try to analyze a very bad performance, it will give you all kinds of anxieties. 90, 85 जा रहा है, तो try to find out reasons. 90, 60, it's like Virat Kohli duck पे out हुआ, कोई बात नहीं, ignore it completely. And then keep moving. Don't let it affect the confidence that you have in your approach. The last part is, what do you do with your strong sections? Save time. You're already scoring very well in English. You can't improve much more. What you can do is you can save 3 minutes. ऐसे 3 strong area में 3-3 minute improve करोगे तो maths के लिए 9 minute बच गए. वहां पे 4 निकलेंगे questions. Sometimes that part is something that you're not focusing on, because if you're really consistently doing well in English, as an example, in that you're getting 20 score in 25 minutes consistently, then perhaps you can get 20 in 20 minutes also. Try it out for 2 marks. If it works, then you have saved 3-4 minutes, which can be very useful in some other section.
In fact, this brings me to the question where I think, and we have quite often come across this, Siddharth, you, and when we do the analysis, और ये हर बार बताना पड़ता है, and I think there are a lot of students who are asking this as well, कि section wise time क्या होना चाहिए paper के अंदर, मतलब what should be my sectional time limit for each of the paper. So if you can recap here what we have already done so many times actually.
Okay, so for the English section, it will be 25 minutes to maximum 30 minutes. The 30 minutes is the max. Okay, 25 minutes, 27 minutes, it should be done. GK, what will it take? 8 to 10 minutes, max 10 minutes.
10 minutes, no more than that.
Right. Then the third section is legal, 30 to 35 minutes, max 35 minutes. 30 minutes to 35 minutes. You can finish it off in 27, 28, then great. Logical, again, around 25 minutes to 27 minutes. And QT will be around 15 minutes. 12 to 15 minutes, whatever time you are having now.
I think इसमें I would like to add a point here. First of all, I think students should also understand that this is not an order what Siddharth suggested. He suggested a sectional time limit which you should follow actually when you are attempting a paper, and that is very important. बहुत लोगों का क्वेश्चन होता है कि सर मेरा लीगल अच्छा स्कोर होता है तो मैं उसमें 40-45 मिनट्स लगा देता हूँ या 50 मिनट्स भी लगा देता हूँ कई बार. That's not a strategy that will help you out. So आप 40-45 लगा करके at the end of the day कितना स्कोर कर लोगे? 100% accuracy होगा तो भी you will score only 32. That's what came in the last year's paper. 32 was the number of questions for legal section. But then in such a scenario, what will happen is you always miss out on a lot of easy questions because you are not able. Somebody said mind gets tired by attempting half the paper. And I think the challenge here would be कि आप जब paper start कर रहे हो आप ये नहीं देख रहे हो कि किस section से start कर रहे हैं. You are simply following the order which is there in the paper. Always start the paper with the section where you are likely to score more. तो अगर मैं legal से start तभी करूंगा जब मेरा legal अच्छा है, मैं उसमें अच्छा score करता हूँ, because there are two things happening. One, at the end of the day, I have to score a number which is the cutoff for the respective NLU, and whichever NLU I am thinking of. Let's say everybody is thinking of Bangalore itself. So I know there is a cutoff which I have to cross actually. So that is a number which is there in my mind. But to do all this, score all this, first of all, I'll score from my strongest area actually. And that is why we talk about strengths and weakness. And when you start with your strong areas, you know what best thing happens? You are motivated. Your motivation gets a boost when you are writing the paper actually. तो कई बार क्या होता है कि जब हम वहां पर एक पेपर लिख रहे होते हैं और हमने गलत सेक्शन से मेरा मतलब है कि हमने उस सेक्शन से स्टार्ट कर दिया जो मेरा फोटे नहीं है, मेरा स्ट्रॉन्ग एरिया नहीं है, बट हमने सोचा चलो इसको पहले टैकल कर लेते हैं, इसको साइड कर देते हैं जितना जल्दी हो सकता है, वो और खराब हुआ तो उसके बाद प्रॉब्लम वहां से शुरू होती है. तो ऑलवेज स्टार्टिंग विद दी स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट एरिया बिकम्स द वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो ये जो ऑर्डर है ये ऑर्डर नहीं है. आप जीके से भी शुरू कर सकते हो अगर आपका जीके अच्छा है, आप क्यूटी से शुरू कर सकते हो आपका क्यूटी अच्छा है. आई विल डेफिनेटली टेक देयर व्यूज बिफोर वी क्लोज दिस ऑन. बट एक चीज तो डेफिनेटली मेरा इनपुट है, मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ, वो दोनों मेंटर्स भी बोलते हैं ये बात हमेशा. देखो क्यूटी को इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते हो. अगर आप ये सोच रहे हो कि क्वांटिटेटिव टेक्निक्स को मैं इग्नोर करके एनएलएस पहुंच जाऊंगा, वो तो डेफिनेटली नहीं होने वाला है. और सरप्राइज हो या ना हो, क्लैट 24 का पेपर सरप्राइज बोल सकते हैं और निकल सकते हैं साइड से, बट वो हो या ना हो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. QT is always a decider when it comes to the top 4-5 NLUs. Which one will you get? वो उसको डिसाइड करता है. बाकी सब चीजें अपनी जगह पे हैं. ये जैसे सिद्धार्थ ने बोला रीडिंग के 80 क्वेश्चंस हैं, उसमें एक लेवल पे जाकर के रुकोगे कहीं ना कहीं. तो ये जो एडवांटेज पॉइंट मिलेगा ये क्यूटी से मिलेगा, क्योंकि जीके का भी एक जाकर के लिमिट आएगा. और क्यूटी डिफिकल्ट नहीं है. बहुत लोगों ने क्यूटी के बारे में पूछा क्या करना चाहिए. क्यूटी इज ऑल अबाउट प्रैक्टिस. पहली चीज तो अपना लेट गो ऑफ दैट फियर कि मैंने 11th-12th में मैथ्स नहीं लिया तो क्वांटिटेटिव टेक्निक्स होगा नहीं. 11th-12th का मैथ्स तो पूछ ही नहीं रहे वहां पे. It's what you have been taught in 6th, 7th and 8th basically, you not even 9th, 10th. तो उस कॉन्सेप्ट को यूज करना है. 7 महीने बचे हुए हैं, अच्छे से अगर उसको कर सकते हो, 3-4 कॉन्सेप्ट्स करने, उसको ढंग से करो. आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू आउट. आई थिंक दिस इज वेयर आई वुड लाइक टू पुट अ स्टॉप टू दिस. आई थिंक इट्स ऑलरेडी बीन 50 minutes.
One point.
But definitely, Rahul, of course, and before we close, I would want to have your final takes, both of you. But Rahul, you wanted to say something.
Just couple of points here. One, to prove it through math, what you just said, 120 minus 12 is 108.
Yes.
10% mistakes. Okay, minus 10. उसका नेगेटिव मार्किंग. ठीक है, another minus 2.5. ठीक है, तो 90 के नीचे चले गए. Where is the chance? Not just NLS Bangalore, I think you've lost all the top 3, top 4.
Yes.
एक बार 90 के नीचे चले गए थे in last exam, then you're gone. Right? Just one point, I think Siddharth covered it beautifully on timings. Just one point, how many of you are actually tracking the actual time that you spend on a section? एक तो प्लान है कि मैं इंग्लिश में 25, एक्चुअली कितने लगा रहा हूं पता ही नहीं है. So what you do while taking the next mock, finish the section, note the time, then start the next section. Finish that, note the time. Just note it on the side. बाद में analyze करना. Where you may be planning for 30 in legal, you may be taking 38. Once you find out what you're doing wrong, then you can correct it. So that I think is a simple part to look at it. Yes.
Okay, so I think what I would suggest is, because there are still a lot of questions and most of them are repetitive, I think मैंने उसको बंडल करके सबका समरी करके आप लोगों से पूछ लिया. जीके का एक क्वेश्चन है, काफी फ्रिक्वेंटली आ रहा था, तो मैं उसको कवर कर देता हूँ. एंड व्हाट आई विल डू इज in the next couple of days we'll definitely answer जो आपने comments students के हैं, मैं उसको I'll definitely answer those questions through the handle. जो भी genuine question है. देखो बैकलॉग की जो बात कर रहे हैं, some students are asking सब बैकलॉग कैसे क्लियर करेंगे. मैंने तो जनवरी फरवरी मार्च में कुछ पढ़ा ही नहीं जीके के बारे में और अभी स्टार्ट किया है या अब प्लान कर रहा हूँ स्टार्ट करने का. तो कुछ लोगों ने लिखा न्यूज़पेपर कैसे पढ़ेंगे. तो बैकलॉग में न्यूज़पेपर तो नहीं पढ़ सकते हो, तो वो तो बिल्कुल समझ जाओ कि वो तो फिजिबल ही नहीं है कि तुम जनवरी से लेकर के और अप्रैल एंड तक का पिछले मतलब 120 दिन का न्यूज़पेपर उठा करके पढ़ने की कोशिश करोगे तो वो नहीं होने वाला है. सो if you are a CL student, my suggestion would be simply do not worry. Cover the weekly मंथन 2.0 अच्छे से कवर करो जनवरी ऑनवर्ड्स. हालांकि मतलब क्लैट का कोई वो नहीं है, फिक्स वो नहीं है. कभी 4 महीने के ही अंदर रह जाते हैं, कभी 12 महीने भी गए हैं, 14 महीने भी गए. तो जितने अच्छे से इवेंट को इंपॉर्टेंस देना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है एक्चुअली. वो हो सकता है उस पर्टिकुलर इवेंट के क्वेश्चन 2 साल पुराने कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भी हो सकता है, बट वो फिर प्रिडिक्टेबल नहीं है, तो उसके लिए वरी करने से कोई फायदा नहीं है. तो मंथन कंप्लीट करो. और जो नॉन सीएल स्टूडेंट्स हैं, अगर आपके पास मंथन एक्सेस नहीं है, यू आर नॉट पार्ट ऑफ एनी ऑफ द प्रोग्राम ऑफ सीएल, देन व्हाट आई वुड सजेस्ट इज कि आप जो करंट अफेयर्स मैगजीन्स हैं उनके थ्रू कवर करो, और इफ यू हैव ऑलरेडी मेड सम नोट्स एक्चुअली दैट विल रियली हेल्प यू आउट देयर। रीजनिंग को लेकर के काफी स्टूडेंट्स का कंसर्न है, क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग के स्कोर्स में स्टक। आई थिंक दिस इज वेयर सिद्धार्थ प्रोग्राम कम्स वेरी हैंडी, CR Nuggets actually, and he has launched for 2025 today itself actually, and you can check on lawentrance.com, careerlauncher.com, and you can definitely refer to that, join for that program actually. Final word of advice from both the mentors actually. So any one of you can begin actually. So students के लिए अगर आज जो एक मंत्र आज देना है, हम आगे भी मिलेंगे इनके साथ, तो एक मंत्र आज आपका क्या होगा?
See, what I will suggest is that prepare a timetable. Firstly, understand what are your strength and weakness. Prepare timetable accordingly. One element that should be compulsorily present in your timetable is your how much time you are devoting to your weakest area every day. That is very very important. Had it been a 1 month time to CLAT, तो मैं बोलता अपने weak area को भूल जा, सिर्फ strong areas पे focus कर. But this is the time wherein you can focus on weak areas. So this will be my final advice, which I have not talked about. बाकी चीजों की तो बात हो चुकी, तो it will be repetitive in nature. So that is one final advice from me.
Yeah, Rahul. Rahul, I think Rahul got stuck. Rahul moved out actually. I think there is some network issue. So we'll wait for a minute or so if he's able to join back anyways. So I think मैं इसको एंड करता हूँ विद अ कंसर्न. आई थिंक मोस्ट स्टूडेंट्स आर इन, ऑलमोस्ट मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स आर इन क्लास 12th. देखो ड्रॉपर्स है, उन्होंने पूछा कि सर हमारे लिए क्या स्ट्रैटेजी सेम रहेगी, नंबर ऑफ आवर्स बढ़ जाएंगे. सिंपल सी बात है कि तुम्हारे पास कोई एक्सक्यूज नहीं है कि क्लास 12 का प्रेशर है. इस चीज को ध्यान में रखो. तो आप ये बोल करके नहीं निकल सकते हो कि नहीं नहीं मेरा तो क्लास 12 भी मुझे देखना है, सो वो भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो आप उसको बोल करके नहीं निकल सकते हो. राहुल, यू आर नॉट ऑन कैमरा एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. लेकिन जो स्टूडेंट्स अभी क्लास 12 में है, आपका जो कंसर्न है कि उसको कैसे मैनेज करें, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, एंड दिस इज वेयर आई वुड गो बैक टू दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग. अभी से जो तुम्हारे पास ये जो इंपॉर्टेंट दिन है ना, अभी जिनके मई में शुरू हो रहे हैं या जून रहेंगे पूरा, ये जो समर वेकेशन है, आई थिंक यहाँ पर सारे प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन है. सारे प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन मिल जाएगा अगर अच्छे से 5-6 घंटे क्लैट के लिए डेली, along with that 5 to 6 hours for your school, and you can go ahead of the curriculum from your school. क्लास की चीजें क्लास में चलेंगी, चाहे वो कोचिंग में हो, चाहे वो क्लैट कोचिंग में हो, या फिर अपना स्कूल हो. आप कितना आगे जा सकते हो, एंड यू ऑल आर ग्रोन अप एक्चुअली. 17 ईयर्स एज है, 16 ईयर्स एज है, तो आप मैच्योर हो यार, इतनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है. डाउट्स होंगे तो जब पढ़ोगे तो डाउट्स होंगे, उसको क्लैरिफिकेशन सीख करो. आई थिंक दैट्स हाउ इट विल वर्क. सो समर वेकेशन जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं जिनको कंसर्न है मैनेज करना बिटवीन स्कूल एंड, आई थिंक दिस इज वेयर लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स कैन स्टार्ट वर्किंग फॉर यू इफ यू यूटिलाइज दोस 30-35 days wisely. Actually, that is something which is very very important. So with that, we'll end this session on this note today, and we'll come back every Friday at 8 p.m. with a new session actually, and we are starting event based GK sessions on Wednesday, every Wednesday 7:30 p.m. You'll have a video coming up live and sometimes recorded about one particular important event of GK which we feel is going to be important from CLAT 2025 perspective. So don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the videos, and come back, and gradually you'll have more coming up actually. But every Friday we'll have one strategy session, toppers talk, all coming your way. So every Friday we'll see you here at 8 p.m. actually. The mentors would be there, and we'll bring in students from the earlier years who have topped the examination, and who have gone to the top law schools, or going to the top law schools through CLAT and ILET 2024. So you'll get a lot of interaction and learning opportunity from them as well. So with that, thank you so much. While Rahul has moved out actually, I believe, due to network issues, so I would personally call him and thanks. Siddharth, thank you so much for joining in today evening.
Welcome,
And thank you to all the students. Actually, I hope this was helpful, and I would definitely work on answering your questions in the next few days actually. काफी सारे comments हैं, तो मैं जो जितने भी आपके concerns areas हैं, मैं definitely उसको answer करूंगा, and some of the mentors will help me out there. Thank you so much everyone, and all the best.
All right. Chalo, bye.
Bye bye.